This video is brought to you by Adorama.com.
So here we have it, our last scope that all of you voted for on YouTube, kindly sent to me by Adorama.com for review. It's funny because this scope is a direct competitor to another scope that you guys voted for, the Leupold VX Freedom 4-12x40, because this is also a 4-12x44, just like the VX Freedom has a BDC style reticle. I'm a big fan of any sort of reticle that isn't a duplex, basically. Anytime that you have holds either for windage or elevation, it makes it that much more practical and useful for if you're trying to go from, let's say, your 0 to any distance beyond. With that being said, the box on this is typical Vortex. It gives you all the information that you're going to need for basically any question you might have. This is about $170, where the VX Freedom 4-12x40 is about $370. So as near as makes no difference, more than double the price. Let's see where Vortex saved $200 on this scope. Right off the bat, packaging is subpar to my standards. There is this little piece of foam in the middle protecting what appears to be the windage turret, but there is no foam on either end protecting the scope from shock forward or backwards. There are these two nice pieces of fitted foam on either end, preventing it from going side to side, but forward and back, there is not. Attention, properly mounted receiver, blah, blah, blah. Do not exceed 18 inch-pounds. You got it, Vortex. Before we get into that, let's take a look and see what else comes inside the box. Vortex gives you this really nice cleaning cloth, which I keep one on my shelf at all times to wipe off optics before and after I use them. One thing I like about Vortex is they give you typically a booklet for the reticle that comes with the scope. It's either a booklet that has the particular reticle and other reticles, or in this case, they give you a full booklet on just this reticle, which is really, really sweet. Why is this sweet? Because it allows you to get the absolute maximum out of this scope as possible right from the start. They also give you a Crossfire II book, which should give you generalized information about the Crossfire II series. As you can see, this clearly does not have illumination on this scope, but yet in the booklet it does. Pretty fancy stuff. I love having bikini caps, and I really like the fact that Vortex gives you a branded one. It's just a nice little extra touch. Here's another warning as to not mess up the scope when you go to torque it down. And here it is. This already feels pretty good in hand. First thing, it's very lightweight, similar to the VX Freedom. And it also has as few features as the VX Freedom, with the exception of one, no throw lever. There are very few Vortexes that have throw levers already built in to the magnification ring from factory. The Strike Eagles are with the exception. However, for whatever reason, whether it's their budget Crossfire II series or their top-of-the-line Razor HD series, most of them just have a knurled magnification ring just like this. And even though the knurling on it's pretty good, it's not enough in most cases. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Starting at the back with the adjustable eyepiece, it is very smooth and pretty quick to turn. Got some interesting sounds going on the inside. There is a little bit of wiggle, but nothing that I would write home about. Magnification ring being a 4-12. This is clearly over 180 degrees, which is one thing I really love about the Leopolds. They have a very short, quick throw to them. Tie that in with the built-in throw lever, and you have yourself a really good magnification ring combo. With this, it is smooth, I'll give it that. Vortex does magnification rings quite well. It literally feels like it's rolling on ball bearings, but there's a preload set to them. Absolutely silent and buttery smooth. Almost perfect. The only way to be better, shorter rotation, or just add a throw lever, come on. But enough of that, let's check out these turrets. One thing with Vortex, make sure you put the right cap on the right turret. Starting with the elevation, you can see we have 15 MOA of adjustment. So They do feel okay. They're a little bit spongy. Very little audio to it. However, these are still way better than the Leopold turrets. One, you could actually line up and make it a precise adjustment by visual confirmation as well as tactile and audio. But two, you can also readjust these quite easily with the screw on top and zero this out however you want. The Leopold turrets are very lacking in that regard. Look at here. Love it. 1, -1. You don't really need to have -1, going left to right, right, left, but it's the exact same feeling turret as the elevation. But Vortex goes above and beyond and gives you your own proprietary cap for your windage as opposed to your elevation. Doesn't line up 100%, but not the end of the world. Let's get behind this and see how well it looks. Right off the bat, you're going to note that there's very little of the scope body showing. And at 4x, the glass looks fantastic so far. I'm really impressed by that. Truly. The reticle is also excellent. It gives you plenty of drops without being too cluttered. The MOA reticle that was in the VX Freedom is good too, but it does seem a little bit cluttered. It's hard to really judge which lines are which, whereas with this you can very clearly see that there's enough distance between it that you can figure it out, that you don't have to guess with it. Going from 4 to 12x, it gets a little bit hazy, I would say, but it still looks excellent. Eye box on this thing seems very big and forgiving, quite impressive out of a budget $170 optic. So far, I would say this is a more than fair competitor to the VX Freedom 4 to 12 by 40. I mean, I'm painfully impressed by how good this thing looks. I remember with the Crossfire II 1 to 4 that I had reviewed, there was a slight tint to the glass, a yellow tint. I so far haven't seen it with this scope yet. If this thing had illumination as a fine dot right in the middle, oh boy, this would be an excellent little scope. But of course, that would bring it up and beyond $200, I'm sure. Anyway, that's going to conclude this unboxing. Thank you all very much for voting on this, and a huge thank you to Adorama.com for providing it here for review. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.
And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.